wonderful. I really enjoy. I actually love, in fact, that you're able to so easily point out the human connection to technology. It's really the essence of digital transformation, right? It's ultimately we obsess over the technology part of it, but it has to do with human needs, like solving problems, and in this case, ingenuity, and how we can leverage technology to solve those problems. In fact, I believe before the talk, we had some correspondence back and forth, and we mentioned you had shared a video from something like 40 years ago, and it was a track meet, I believe, in BC in British Columbia, and it was these young boys, high schoolers that were using computers. I mean, this must have been in the 80s, and they were using these computers to track what was going on during this sports event, and it was being heralded as, look at us, like we've got our own Silicon Valley boys here in Canada. And it's funny to think about the technology that they're using is trivial compared to what's in your back pocket right now. What we're recording over a network. I think this recording is getting saved in the cloud as we speak, which is amazing compared to the tech before. And yet it's not like these problems that we face with digital transformation, they're the problems are just self-emergently solved through more tech. I mean, we have more tech than ever, and there's still plenty of challenges, global as they may be. So I would ask, I guess, what's the vision that people had when they were solving digital transformation 40 years ago, when those boys were, say, recording data for a track meet, versus what we're doing now to globalize the concept of credit unions in Canada? What is the vision, the same as it was 40 years ago? Is it different now, or how do we match up?
From my perspective, technology is just a tool. In the 80s, we were using technology as a tool. Today, we use technology as a tool. It excels in some areas in adding value. You have to remember that a rock, a stick, and some moss is a tool as well. You can start a fire with that. But how many people do you know who can start a fire with a stick and a rock? Not many. But it's how you use the technology. A track meet would run today on an iPhone as well. I think the difference between now and 40 years ago is connectivity. In the 80s, if
Mhm.
you wanted to connect a computer to another computer, you may have joined a local area network. You may have connected to another computer using a modem. Today, connectivity is everywhere, and that's really the job, and that's how we're aggregating value by taking advantage of that connectivity and delivering experiences to members that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Right. Yeah, connectivity, I think, is part of that core solution that you see for credit unions going forward into the future, is that they have that independence, but they need to be networked. They need that connectivity. I think that's an important point. I guess we could actually tie those two together and talk about this concept today, then, of this core identity in relation to technology. Like, what is today's technology reality for Canadian credit unions, as in terms of how they sit? Are they ahead of the game? Are they behind? Are they somewhere in the middle?
I guess today, when you look at what's required with platformization, what credit unions need is a platform which is actually a series of interconnected underlying platforms or pillars.
Hmm.
And if you look across the industry, there's a lot of legacy technology out there. Many credit unions signed their banking system contracts 15, 20, 25 years ago. They're legacy systems. Banking has changed. We're now looking at headless banking. Um, we're looking at, our job now is to be where our members and customers are in their journey. Members are no
Hmm.
longer driving to the branch for some hot coffee, to log on to a legacy banking system. They want you in their back pocket, wherever they are, to support them in the journeys that matter to them.
Yeah, perfect. And in fact, I think in your writing, maybe to take it in this direction, say, I've seen you say that you seem to think that Canadians' credit unions are at a bit of a crossroads for digital transformation, and I've noticed that you're careful to caution that they collectively measure the value of digital, say, versus analog. So we're talking about this analog experience of doing something versus doing something digital, and what that process of going digital really means for credit union members. And I love you've used a few different metaphor. I think I've commented to you even before this talk that I love your metaphor. They are very insightful for me. But this concept of, okay, here's where we are with technology as credit unions, and here's how we go digital, or what that even means. And you've cautioned about this concept of going digital versus going analog in terms of the whole perspective for digital transformation. Could you expand on that?
Absolutely. Credit unions fundamentally differentiate on the basis of relationship.
Hmm.
For credit unions to be successful moving forward, it's about parlaying that relationship advantage into digital. So going digital doesn't mean you're losing the relationship and providing automated services to people. What it does mean is you're using technology to mediate relationship and to look after members and customers' financial well-being using other channels in addition to branch. Branch
Hmm.
is still, obviously a channel, but we also need to use digital to look after relationships as well.